Olá a todos, meu nome é Thiago Quintela e você está no recinto marcial Flor de Lótus, o Linfamokun. Hoje eu resolvi fazer uma apresentação. Essa semana nós estamos comentando bastante no canal sobre o quinto domínio do sistema Wing Chun, né, o Luk Dim Bun Gwan, né, comentando sobre esse instrumento, esse dispositivo que é o bastão de 6 pontos e meio. Fizemos um react bem bacana com o mestre Felipe Soares, do canal Insight Kung Fu, né, fazendo um react sobre o vídeo do Grão Mestre Leo Imamura, do canal Kung Fu Life, que é o nosso Sifu. Então hoje eu vou aproveitar e postar também um vídeo bem interessante de um seminário, um trecho de um seminário que o Grão Mestre Leo fez nos Estados Unidos, né, e esse vídeo originalmente está no canal, né, do meu irmão Kung Fu, o mestre sênior Nathaniel Rosa, lá do Polo Brasília, do Moyal Wing Chun Safeguard Group, tá? Então depois na descrição eu vou colocar também o link do canal dele, para que tem muito vídeo bacana lá, para que vocês possam assistir também lá, tá bom? Bom, é isso, vamos pro vídeo. Um abraço.
About the leg strike, the Biu Gwan, where it's in the elbow, bent, and then fired from stable wards.
I still processing, right? What I can tell you of the series expansion, I think what I can help you guys, if you see normalmente no favor. And if you see the Luk Dim Bun Gwan, according to our Sifu, they have kind of methodology to learn, right? Jin Choi, Biu Gwan, Chi Gwan, and Luk Dim Bun Gwan itself. And Bachang you have the Bachang itself. I'm going to talk about itself with the sequence, right? The main list which you can understand the cumulative or the domain of the nature of that domain. But if you not see each domain, what I call domain, liquid, is Siunim, Changkyu, Biu Muy fragile, Luk Dim Bun Gwan, you see, when we talk about weapons, it's pretty much different. Right? Because when they have empty hands, you start with the sequence. Then you have some associated component to help that sequence, to understand the sequence. Like swinging down, have a box, and so on. Right? But when you talk about Luk Dim Bun Gwan, it's kind of opposite. The form comes and blessed. So that tells me one thing is very important to understand. First, something in this level, the Kung Fu must not depend on the system anymore. Like Grão Mestre Moy Yat used to say, Kung Fu without a system is not Kung Fu. Kung Fu depends on the system. It's not good Kung Fu. Selim Miguel mentioned, Selim Sahib also, about everybody must have your own. So, the weapon itself, not the superior level of the system, they have external elements like a dummy, the pole, and the knife. So the knife itself, or the pole itself, for example, this. Looks like a mouse tail, right? Because this is tinier than this. So maybe this can mean something to us. Maybe that means one head is more important than other. You know, it's not like a two-head step. You know, like a Chinese style. You have both heads. This one has just one head. But I'm surprised when I saw my style used it this way. You know? And it makes sense because you have more mass on that side instead of that side. Right? But if you understand Wing Tsun Kung Fu, you understand the main idea is to first, right? It's not to hit. So if you have this style, it's better to use this to hit, right? But we don't do that, right? Why? Because the main movement is first. When they do that, it's very funny because Sifu always emphasize one, have just one movement. Beautiful, right? So that's why your question is very good. And I tell you the truth. I made some questions to Sifu, and I tell you, I share with you the answer, finally, okay? Everybody is recording? He told me, you must play more Biu Gwan. Of course, the simple Victor question is not different than mine. You know, those days, I tell the truth, I really got offended when they said, okay, I was upset. Why? Because myself, I believe, I have enough experience on that. But then I started to realize, okay, you know, when you play Biu Gwan, it's funny because everybody knows we have just one movement to attack. So it's very easy to predict. So when you play in Luk Dim Bun Gwan, very easy. Sooner or later, somebody will kill you. Right? So that's why the key is not the movement or the technique, but the timing and energy. So sometimes I must wait a little bit. Sometimes I must use long arm energy. Sometimes, and that means my opponent will tell me what I have to do. It's not such a setup technique to do it. You know, I have to be relaxed and very available wherever it is, right? So that's the nature when you play Luk Dim Bun Gwan, because it's not a matter of technique anymore. It's a matter of you understand the other factors which involve the Wing Tsun movement, right? Basically, energy and timing, see, come, and let go, right? So that's why your question is very good, but the answer doesn't matter, right? Because all depends how the other guy is doing. And I would like to share a story because Miguel mentioned about our CPAC check. We are in his first seminar in the US to talk about the Gwan. I believe it was the first time ever he mentioned about the Gwan. Maybe probably you guys were with us. After he shows, the seminar, we have young child, the three, C0 and C4, remember? And we said, we come and you see for all, a lot of new things. See if I can move the horse when I play Biu Gwan. Because we play the kind of, you know, we go, boom, come back, right? No, don't move that much. And you know what our answer? Sifu's answer? Audience, you guys didn't play Biu Gwan enough. It means, why not? You move your horse too. Why are you so tired? You know, in a certain way. I show you guys. You can do it. Because you cannot depend on the system anymore. You're not beginners anymore. So don't have beginners behavior. No, it's the level. So that's why the idea of salvore is very important. Now it's the level. It's time to break it. Not just follow. Because we choose system. If you talk about Sanfa, it's not based on information. It's based on your own experience. Of course, if you want to have your own experience in the beginning, you need some information. But a kind of information that make yourself experience something which come out of your own experience. Not the kind of information to make you satisfied and don't think anymore about it. Like most of the times you find on the internet, you know. I'm not against internet, but I believe you can use in a better way, you know. We're still young and this type of kind of thing in the internet. We need information. Our seafood, before he passed away, he mentioned the future is the internet. You know? He mentioned that. And he was really mad when he tried to his first email, Moy Yat, and AOL, right? And somebody think already, you know? Moy Yat itself cannot use his own name. Yeah, so internet is the future, but you must use very well, you know? So, answer this question, I think we could play more Biu Gwan, but in a smarter way, you know? And understand a few things. I'd like to share just one thing, because Saint Miguel mentioned about to put this right when he mentioned, and I wonder why, you know, to put this. Why I have to hold this way and not this way? Maybe even this way, because sometimes in an energy situation, I can use this kind of this side, right? Until I hit something, you know? What happened? I was here, then I tried to hit something. And I hit something, boom, what happened? The solid thing hit back, right? And broke my ribs. Right? Because I don't protect this. When I put this, my hand, my own hand, go against my hip. Right? So, no problem. So that's why I learned it very hard way. This is very important. You know? But those days, I didn't play it very hard. That's why. Thank you.